Chris had leukemia. It started with a constant need to nap, and I thought he was just being lazy. He had what looked like a rash. He stopped eating my homemade tortellini that he had always requested for Sunday's dinner. After a couple of weeks of slow weight loss and constant fatigue, I got him to see the doctor. I quite frankly thought he had worms. They did some fancy tests and reported nothing, but I knew what it was. Low platelets, high lymphocytes. Within 48 hours, he was on bed rest at my request. I knew he had to be diagnosed with stage 4 leukemia. That's when the feelings began. Our marriage was no longer full of life, ideas, and aspirations. It was taken day by day, every moment full of sadness. On TV shows and movies, they always made it seem as though when a horrible, life-threatening illness is struck upon the family, you learn to cherish the moments. Cherish every day and find joy in the most simple of moments. For Chris and I, it just forced us into premature grieving. My beloved husband wasn't even gone yet, and I was already grieving his death. Every giggle, every inside joke soon faded to somber laughter as we both laid squished together in the cot-like hospital bed, staring up at the grayed ceiling. The little details I loved about Chris, his dimples, the way his young skin bounced back as I put my hands to his cheek. Even his shiny hair soon became dull and lifeless. He became a hollow shell of a person. I didn't recognize how much he had changed until I returned home to grab some more clothes for myself, and I was forced to look at all of our photos. Him as a child, me holding him, us on our wedding day. I had to get his suit specially tailored. He was so small. That's when I realized he was no longer my Chris. Chris had always been slightly chubby, full of life, short, and always had a healthy glow. Now, he was sickly yellow. His skin was like paper. His rib cage could be seen through the hospital gown. Despite all the treatments, his chest rattled when he took a breath. He couldn't keep food down. His hair was thinning. He looked old, no longer youthful like he had once been. The doctors consistently lied to me. They keep telling me that wasn't my husband. Why couldn't I believe them? Of course it wasn't my husband. The leukemia had changed him. They kept telling me that he was healthy and normal. But why had he gotten so tall? Why had he lost weight? Why did he no longer scarf down 10 meals a day? He also began changing. He got hairier. He has more muscle. It wasn't normal. It's a tan, they said. He's having a growth spurt, they said. They wouldn't believe me. They wouldn't listen. That's why I had to buy the mercury. It was so easy to get. I bought some Bitcoin. I transferred that Bitcoin to 8 or 10 different wallets. I downloaded Tor, and within 10 minutes had ordered genuine mercury. I had to encrypt my name and address and everything else. I couldn't ever risk that this be traced back to me. I knew it was wrong, but I also knew my husband had leukemia. Exposed him to the mercury. Tiny amounts at first, then more and more and more, until I got the desired results. Finally, the doctors believed me. They diagnosed him with leukemia. Mother's intuition, they called it, when they diagnosed him. Absolutely ridiculous. Chris and I had never had a child. He was far too young. Most nights, before he got ill, I would have to call him in from the front yard playing soccer. As I laid with him in the cot of a hospital bed, I couldn't help but think about the things the doctors and nurses had said. Some of them tried to understand it. They said I was mentally ill. Some still hated me. I could feel their seething rage. I knew that the second they left the room, they would be sneering at me behind closed doors, calling me sick and deranged. They asked if I would be willing to get tested for a possible bone marrow match, so I could be a donor to help with Chris's leukemia. I said yes, although I knew we'd be a match. When Chris was little, I got tested as a half match, just in case. I turned to Chris and asked him if he had any appetite for dinner. Dunkaroos? I could get some from the vending machine for you, I offered as I climbed out of bed. He stayed silent for a moment before speaking. Mom, I'm almost 15. I don't eat Dunkaroos anymore. I slapped him across the face. Hissing, I said, Chris, don't you dare call me that. You know, when the doctors are gone, you never call me Mom. He looked down at the end of the bed before he broke his silence. Yes, dearest wife. His voice cracked as he spoke. As much as he, the doctors, and the therapist fought it, I was never going to let puberty take my husband, even if I had to let the leukemia take him instead.
Thank you for watching. I always appreciate the support you show me, and I'm forever grateful for it. Hope everyone had a wonderful day. All my social media information is in the description box below. All the story, music, and image information is below as well. And don't forget, I'll see